Hello everybody, Merlin here. Woo, look at me, on the Nintendo Switch. I've been out for more than 3 years and sold over 150 million units worldwide, I think. Yeah, big whoop. Wanna know how much the human race sold? Like 7 billion. Yeah, that's right, screw you, Nintendo!
3 years. Wow. The Nintendo Switch, one of the greatest systems ever made. Aside from PS4, Xbox, and PC, the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion, was the greatest systems I've ever played. It had so much games on it. It had Breath of the Wild, aka one of my favorite games I've ever played, Skyrim, Doom, Smash Brothers, and so much more. Oh, there was also Asphalt. Nobody plays that anymore.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch is a good system. I give you that, but the system came out back in 2017 and it's still a good system. I mean, there's Xbox, PC, and PS4, and they have good games. But there's also the Nintendo Switch, which still have games being made to this day. I mean, there's Mario Galaxy Sunshine, the Mario 64 remake coming out soon. There's a new Hyrule Warriors game, and there's just so much more to look forward to. And overall, it's just a really good system. You could do a lot more than just take it out on the go. You can go ahead and buy custom controllers online, buy other controllers, as in just instead of buying Joy-Cons, you can buy actual Pro controllers. And that means like custom controllers as well. You don't have to buy ones made by Nintendo. I mean, that's also an idea, or a possibility, but it's also an option. Oh yeah, sometimes some games have really bad frame rate and it makes me have a stroke.
As I said, frame rate wise, some games run pretty slow and or run on low graphics like Mortal Kombat 11, Doom and Skyrim. But on the good side, most games released work fine, so it doesn't really matter if a game lags or not. The only thing I care about is the gameplay itself and how fun it is. Yeah, a lot of the games people want on the Switch won't really get released depending on how good the game looks. Games like Ghost of Tsushima, Call of Duty, and surprisingly Resident Evil won't be released for the Switch.
What? How the hell am I gonna play Resident Evil 4 now? Aren't there already Resident Evil games on the Switch?
Alright, now with that out of the way, let's talk about all the great games over the years that has been released on a Nintendo Switch, starting with the one and only The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh boy, was this a great game. It's such a big game. You can do so much, from finding resources to finding weapons to killing enemies and exploring an completely open world, doing many puzzles, talking to NPCs, and just doing so much. And after playing it, I haven't completed it, but overall, at the moment, it is by far the greatest game I have ever played. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I rate 10 out of 10. It is such a great game. Visuals look amazing. Gameplay is quite easy but also hard at the same time. Enemy wise, there are easy and then there are hard. The more bosses you defeat, or the more enemies you defeat, or the more things you complete, the harder the game will get, meaning harder enemies will spawn depending on their color. The basic color meaning they're easy, all the way up to black and gold, which meaning they are insanely hard. Oh, and sometimes some enemies can be white. I think that's the hardest difficulty for them, but I have no idea. But overall, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it is an amazing game, and I'm really excited to play the new Hyrule Warriors game that's coming out, and Breath of the Wild 2, which is currently in development.
But yeah, Breath of the Wild is an amazing game, and I highly recommend you play it. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's pick another game here. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh no.
Oh god.
Okay, this game we don't talk about. Alright, let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, here we go. Super Mario Maker 2.
Okay, now this is a good game to play if you ever get bored. It's literally a Mario remix game, but you are the creator. I mean, there's so much you can do in this game. You can make any Mario level you want with multiple themes, like Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. U, and Super Mario 3D World. With many objects, enemies, power-ups, the possibilities are endless. There's a story mode, which is okay. I mean, the levels are quite hard in my opinion, but either or, it's okay. I mean, in my opinion, the levels are okay. Some are hard, probably because I'm garbage at Mario, but yeah. There's also online levels that people have made, and they're okay. But either all, the possibilities are endless with Super Mario Maker 2. It's quite a good game. I have fun playing it, and I still play it to this day if I ever get bored. I pop out my stylus, because for certain games I use a stylus, but most of the time I just use the controls. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Mario Maker 2 and how good it is. So you can just do anything, build whatever you want, make challenges, make puzzles. You can do themes, like of course Super Mario Bros. And all the other games. But there's also underground levels, above ground levels, sky levels, underwater, and so much more. And either or, it's a fun game. It is a really fun game if you ever get bored.
I'm starting to think the Nintendo Switch is better than you think. It has so many games and such good potential. But enough talking about that. Let's talk about another game. Let's see, what else do we have? Ah, yes. Can't make a Switch game review without Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Ah yes, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the biggest Super Smash Bros. Game in Smash history, and also the biggest crossover in video game history. This game is really fun to play with friends, and or to play with by yourself by fighting bots, unlocking characters, playing the story mode, Word of Light. I played Word of Light and I've completed it. Not 100%, but I've completed the game itself. I haven't unlocked every spirit and everything, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a fun game, and I mean it. It is a great game. I was very, very happy when I first saw that it was coming out. And either or, it's just a really great game. It's a really fun game to play with friends and family. And just unlocking the characters, just having that happy feeling when you unlock a new character, and that really happy feeling for when you complete the entire roster. Just looking at the roster itself is completely huge, with so many characters to play with, spanning from Super Mario to Final Fantasy to Fire Emblem. I hate it when there's so many Fire Emblem characters! Okay, anyway, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a great game. The only downside is there really isn't a downside. I mean, it's great. There's a custom stage maker, and either or, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a fantastic game, and it's so much fun to play.
But yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a great game. Alright, so that's going to be it for talking about games, and now let's talk about hardware and the system itself. Nintendo Switch has Nintendo Switch Online, but I mean, the only good thing about it was the SNES and NES online games. I mean, it had good games, but Earthbound isn't in the list yet. So yeah, at the moment, it's absolute garbage. I mean, yeah, Donkey Kong Country is there, and some other good games are there, but it's yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Nintendo Switch Online. Cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is that you can take it on the go, or you can play it at home. Cool thing about the Switch. Another cool thing about the Switch is that you can do this. I just broke the controllers. Oh no! I'm just kidding. These are supposed to do this. You can take the controllers off, put them down here, and play them like this. But it's a pretty good idea, honestly. You can put it against a wall and play it. You can put it on a table and let your arms rest instead of having to hold the controllers themselves like this. And it's a pretty good idea how they're detachable. And the Switch actually has good battery life. I think the old design used to have 4 hours, and the new design for this Switch it's exactly the same thing. I think it has a better processor. I don't know, but the new version has better battery life, and instead of having it 4 hours, it has it 8 hours. But either or, yeah, the Nintendo Switch is quite good.
You could also hack the Nintendo Switch, but I'm really not interested in doing that. I mean, it's pretty cool. You can emulate games, have custom games to play, get games for free, but I'm really not interested in that since the Switch is still brand new and it still has some sort of security. But at the moment, I don't really feel like hacking my Nintendo Switch. But either or, Nintendo Switch is a pretty good system either way. PC, Xbox, and PS4 do have a lot, and I mean a lot of good games that look amazing. It had Call of Duty, Spider-Man, and a whole bunch of other games. But then there's a Nintendo Switch. I mean, that stands out, but it doesn't have as much games as console and PC do. But it still stands out to this day, and there are still games being made for it. And hopefully it doesn't get completely filled with crappy indie games. Every time I check the eShop, there's always nothing but indie games. Indie game after indie game after indie game. I just want proper games to play. Stuff like Lego, GTA, Hotline Miami, Call of Duty, all those games I want. I even want Half-Life or maybe even Jagari's mod or something. But yeah, that's something that I want to talk about for another episode, but yeah.
As I've said many times in this video, the Nintendo Switch is a great system, and I highly recommend using it. But there are a couple downsides. I mean, frame rate wise, some games lag and are on low graphics. There aren't as much games as PS4, Xbox, and PC. But it's an overall good game for going out on a trip or something, or playing with your family, and it's just a good system in general. There are a lot of good games, and there are a lot of bad games. Mainly it's just a whole bunch of indie games, and which basically took up the entire eShop. I'm also waiting for a Nintendo Direct, and so far there hasn't been one in such a long time. And it makes me very, very mad that it makes me just wanna...
Nintendo, make a Direct.
The Nintendo Switch is a great system, and I highly recommend you use it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I highly recommend you get a Switch, as I just said many times before in this video. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to be playing Breath of the Wild on my Switch, and hopefully getting a Nintendo Direct.